Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Street Talk and other stuff. Nice to have you here this Monday morning. Hey, you know, honestly, I want to say Happy New Year. Now, I know it's a week late, but last 2 weeks due to the holiday, we were running rerun shows, the best of Street Talk and other stuff. So we had a little bit of trouble finding 2 shows that we could put under that category. But nice to be here. Nice to have you. Nice to be back. So, hey, some stuff going on. You know, I went into my pharmacist the other day, and I asked if he had any prepared tablets of acetylsalicylic acid. Knew I was going to, okay, I'm going to screw that joke up. But I asked him if he had any acetylsalicylic acid tablets. And he said, do you mean aspirin? And I said, oh, I always forget that word. Okay, all right. Now, a pal of mine also who works in the medical field, he's in the hospital billing department. He got a call from an irate patient who was complaining about her bill. You know, she said that there was some charges on there that she didn't think were fair. So he said, well, let's go over the bill with you and we'll see. And my friend said, okay, well, number 1 on the bill, your analysis. And the complainer said, what did you call me? Oh, and I went out to eat the other day and I ordered some bean soup. And when the soup came, it was lukewarm and it was mostly water. So I called over the waitress. I said, this soup is terrible. And she said, oh, I know. I hate bean soup too. Okay, sorry, I'm doing my best, okay? But hey, I want you to stick around. I got a great guest today. Somebody who fits into the category of you don't know, maybe you should. Or maybe not. But we'll see, and you'll understand what I mean by that in a minute. But hey, stick around. Street Talk and other stuff. We'll be right back.
Just as went on the air, Steve, NCW Life is live now on Facebook.
Hey, how's about that? We're live, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm Dan Kuntz, your host for the next hour.
Every weekday, starting at 7 o'clock.
Get ready for a bunch of news that's coming your way.
Here's what's happening around North Central Washington. I'll have a rundown of all your local, regional, and statewide news. You can also find more on our website at ncwlife.com. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. That's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on NCW Life News.
Hi, I'm Cordell Schroeder, owner of East Wenatchee Mobile Storage.
If you're thinking about making a move anytime soon, check out the East Wenatchee Mini Storage brand new mobile storage service. They drop it off at your location, you pack it, and they pick it up and store it in their protected warehouse at East Wenatchee for as long as you need. When you're ready, they'll drop it off at your new home or office. East Wenatchee Mini Storage is excited to offer this brand new service to our region.
Call 509-884-8643 or find us on the web at ewministorage.com.
When Mike leaves town, it's a little scary. You never know who might be outside. But we feel safer inside knowing our home is being monitored by a local company. I can check our alarm from just about anywhere. So when we get home, I know it's safe.
Protect your family and save money with a local company. Switch your current security monitoring to Guardian Services from LocalTel. Call Guardian Security from LocalTel now or visit localtel.net to learn more.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Street Talk and other stuff. Welcome back. Now, the issue of Robert E. Lee Elementary School has raised its ugly head again. Now, those of you who are following this know that the East Wenatchee Eastmont School District kind of dodged this bullet, or tried to, by saying they were going to put it to a vote of the public that wouldn't come up till November of last year. But my guest today, Mr. John Brangwin.
Welcome.
How are you, John?
Thanks a lot.
Okay, local defense attorney. He has, I don't know how you put it, challenge them. I don't want to say you threaten them. You
pretty much threaten them.
Okay.
It's okay.
Threatened the school board and said, you can't do that. It's not within your powers. This is something, you can't dump this over on the public for a vote. You have to make this decision yourself.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit okay, first of all, before we get there, so we're going to talk about that and some other aspects of John's career, but just a little bit about yourself, sir. Because again, you're somebody that people should know.
Sure.
I think.
I've been here for 20 years.
Yeah.
Moved here in October of 1997, right out of Gonzaga Law School. I have my own firm here with a couple of partners. Steve Woods is one of my partners, Beth Bratton, and then we have one associate. So 4 lawyers. We're over there at corner of 5th and Mission.
Right, Woods and Brangwin, right?
Yep, Woods and Brangwin, yeah. And I'm married, and when I was writing my notes for what to say today, I was thinking about, you ever watch like Wheel of Fortune? Everyone says, I have a wonderful wife and wonderful kids.
Right.
And just once I'd like to watch one of those shows where somebody was honest and said, my wife's a battle axe, and my kids
I
are...
hate her, I'm going to dump her.
Right. But,
Well, okay, you're not wearing a wedding ring, though, and neither do I.
I got a long story about I got
Okay.
it caught in a jet ski once, and no
okay.
good.
I just don't like jewelry.
My wife really is great. She's the Brangwin that people like to meet.
Okay.
She works at the library. She does book clubs and outreach.
Cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
all right.
she
Okay.
and I have a daughter that's a sophomore, and she's 15. And
Great.
she's
Good.
She's a pain, like all 15-year-old
Yeah,
girls are. So
yeah.
that's a little bit about me. Interest-wise, I'm a big waterfowl hunter. Shoot lots of ducks and geese and pheasants. In fact,
Okay.
that's how I got. I don't know if you can see it, but I got in a fight with a Russian olive tree. So.
Oh, yeah, I can see a little scar on the bridge of your
Yeah,
nose. So
exactly.
you know John Cruz then?
Yeah, I know
John?
John Cruz, seen him
Okay.
at the sportsman shows
Yeah.
and things like that. Yeah. So, and then I play golf when I'm not shooting birds. Terrible, absolutely terrible golfer. Everyone will attest to that. One time, this old guy at the club told me, "You know what your problem is, John? You have too much loft." I thought, well, my ball, it's usually on the ground, doesn't go up in the air. He said, no, it's an acronym. It stands for lack of freaking talent.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
So that's a little bit about me.
All right, well, good. I appreciate that. No, I like it when people are happily married.
Yeah,
Seriously,
20
I do.
years. It'd be 20 years, April 4th of this year.
Cool, congrats.
20 years,
And a
thank you.
15-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
my wife and I got 40. We just
40.
hit 40 last September. So.
double me. Yeah.
And she still likes me too, so which is cool.
Yeah, no, that is good. That is
Okay,
good.
the Lee School thing. Tell us
All
how
right.
this came up. You know?
So I threw in my name in the hat to be on the school board. I'd been to some school board meetings in
Right.
the past, thought they could use somebody like me, somebody that mixes it up, somebody that's willing to be controversial, a devil's advocate. They really need somebody to kind of question things. It's a really a bobblehead board. They just kind of nod their head. So
Okay,
I
all right.
thought I could invigorate some energy into that group. And so if you're running for school board, it turned out I had 3 other opponents, and I didn't hang up signs or anything like that. It was just a low key. It's a volunteer job, so
Sure.
In any event, but the Lee School issue came up again. You know, there was
Sure.
another shooting, and so I was like, well, I'm gonna have to form an opinion on this. So I did. And I did a little research, kind of looked at both sides of the issue. I'm a lawyer. I could make a good argument for keeping the name, but I thought on balance, it's a bad name. We should get rid of it.
Okay, and any particular reason why?
Because I think when the top of mind for Robert E. Lee, what's the first thing you think of?
No, Civil War general, yeah, exactly.
And what was the Civil War about? States' rights, which was really
Slavery, exactly.
Exactly. So
Exactly.
there's a better name. I don't know how we ever got the name. If we were going to name the school today, we wouldn't name it that. So
Right.
let's change it. It's not changing history. Our history will be that we had the name of the school from whatever the 50s
Right.
till whatever. So it's not changing history. It's just coming up with a better name. Well, I took lots of flack. I'd say that's a minority opinion in the Valley. And
Well, do you live in East Wenatchee?
Yes,
Okay, all right.
yeah, you have to live in East Wenatchee to run for school board.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so
I should have figured that part out. But
it's okay. And the backlash really kind of got me more pissed off, so to speak,
Yeah.
because like some of the comments on social media were like, "You should move." Like, where am I going to move to? I've lived in Eastern Washington my entire adult life.
yeah, I hate that. I mean, you've got the right to live here regardless of what your opinion
Yeah, I don't
is.
want to live in a place where everybody thinks the same way
Yeah.
as me. That would bother me. So that was sort of how we got there. Yeah, so that was kind of that. Then the school board met, decided they weren't going to change the name,
Right.
and then they were going to put it off on the voters.
And that, now, I'm a Wenatchee guy, and I could care less what the school's named. I mean, I knew it was Robert E. Lee when I first moved out here in '73, and it just kind of rolled off my back.
Right.
But when they said they were going to put it to a vote of the public next November, I mean, that was obvious. Let's just pass the buck down the road and see if this just dies a natural death so we don't have to worry about it. That's the feeling I got from the
My
decision
feeling
they
was, though, that we're just going to keep talking about it till November. Let's
Yeah.
put it to bed one way or the other.
Okay.
That was part that.
Yeah, I kind of got the feeling they were wishing it would just die and go away. But
Oh, probably.
Okay,
But
all right.
their job is to, is to make tough decisions, and that's
Yeah.
one that they have to make. So I lost the election to Dave People, very nice gentleman, big in the fruit industry,
Yeah.
I think lived here his whole life. Not an unsurprising result, not just because of my position on leave, but because I didn't do much of a campaign, and I think Dave knew a lot more people than I did. So he wins. And then Carol Wardell, former judge, who I probably have on most topics probably disagree with her on, but on this one we're allowed.
Oh, she's a great gal.
Yeah, but right, exactly, right. So
Well, a little low here.
on most topics we wouldn't get along at all, but on this one we did.
Okay.
And she came to me, she was the PUD's attorney for it, so
Right.
she knows a lot of these arcane laws about what junior government entities can do, and
Sure.
she said they can't put that to a vote. They don't have the authority. They can only put bonds to a vote. So she did some research, put together a letter, brought it to me, and said, would I mind co-authoring it, because she's not licensed to practice anymore.
Okay.
So I looked at it, I agreed with it, and said, yeah, I'll put it. So I put it on my letterhead. We made clear, we both signed it. And I basically said, yeah, if you persist in trying to put this to a vote, I'm going to bring a legal action against you.
Right, and I saw the letter on Facebook. Somebody posted it there.
Right,
So,
so you don't have the authority to do it.
Sure.
And I didn't hear anything. It was delivered to the superintendent. Didn't hear anything back on with that. I didn't know what they were going to do. And then there was a school board meeting where the superintendent brought this idea of just drop the Robert E. Lee, and they just pushed that aside. They weren't going to do that. I think they were going to stick with their vote deal. Well, unbeknownst to me, the school district had sent that to Steve Clem, the Douglas County elected prosecutor. And by statute, school districts usually just hire an attorney to do stuff, but by statute, they county prosecutors advise schools. So he looked at it, he looked at our letter that Carol and I came up with, and he agreed with it too. And said, yeah, you don't have the authority to do that. So that's now, they haven't had a meeting since they got Steve Clem's letter back.
Right.
So I assume that they're working on their thank you letter to me. So I'm going to wait for that. I said, right?
Where did you get the idea that they were going to, thank you, sir, for threatening to sue us,
Well, right, but I saved them all the money. They don't have to run for election, and the seven of them can just decide it themselves, right?
That is true, that is true.
That was my thing. So I'm waiting for my thank you letter. Do you think I'll get one?
I like his panache, okay? I really do. I really do.
I'm waiting for my thank you letter. But in any event, so that's what's going on. That's and Steve Clem agreeing with me. That's newsworthy too. I'm not sure that's happened before. So
okay, and tonight, evidently, they're having a meeting tonight at Grant School at 5:30. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And is this going to be on the agenda?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Now, is there any reason why they're picking Grant School, do you think, to have this meeting?
No, I don't think there's any.
That doesn't have anything to do with it?
No,
Okay.
they rotate. They go one meeting at their office, and then they go to all the schools around the district. So they go to Rock Out. So I don't think there's any connection to. No, there's we're not restarting the Civil War.
That was the first thing my wife said. Why are they having it at Grant School?
Hey, frankly, as long as they're going to drop first names, they ought to drop Ulysses S. too. That school used to be named for Aubrey Grant, what Grant Road is named for.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
No,
Oh,
it wasn't
okay.
named for Ulysses S. Grant. I think that happened at the same time they named Aubrey Lee. They had to drop both of them.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, hey, we covered this topic, but now we're going to take a break, because when I come back, I want to talk to Mr. Brangwin about his professional career, because it's very interesting. That's one of the reasons why it's kind of cool that you're here today.
Right.
So, hey, so street talk and other stuff. My guest today, Mr. John Brangwin, he's a local defense attorney. He's also the one who recently, using his words, threatened the Eastmont School Board with a lawsuit if they didn't decide on their own about whether or not to change the name of Robert E. Lee Elementary School. But hey, you stick around. We'll be right back.
This is TV. This is TV Set Free. TV everywhere from LocalTel sets you free to watch what you want, where you want. Catch your favorite networks, including live TV, ready to watch on any web-connected device for no extra charge. That's TV Set Free. Enjoy the extra value LocalTel delivers with TV everywhere. Visit localtel.net and sign up today.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is State Representative Kerry Condata inviting you to check out our newest show on the NCW Life channel. We call it the 12th District. Each week, we'll be taking an in-depth look at various political issues that affect our area, our state, and the world. We'll be featuring local and statewide experts on the subject matter at hand. Please join us weekly for the 12th District with yours truly, Kerry Condata. Check your channel guide for times or go to ncwlife.com for details.
Okay, Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike, Mad Doug McNanny here with Mr. John Brangwin, who's a local defense attorney. Now, when I said earlier, this is a gentleman you may want to know, but you may not, because also your specialty is...
Concentrate mostly on DUI defense.
Right,
Do some
exactly.
other things, but criminal defense is the biggest part of my practice.
Okay, well, how'd you get into the law as a profession? What made you...
I went to Central over in
yeah.
Ellensburg.
Okay.
Graduated there with a law and justice degree. Thought I wanted to be a police officer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I was a state patrol explorer and stuff. So, but when I graduated, it was a time. Now they really are trying to recruit people to be police officers. At that time, there'd be 100 people for one job. So I didn't think I had a very good chance of that. And I kind of liked school life, you know. Only in college do they call 15 hours a week full time, right?
Yeah, right.
So
He's got a point, you know.
So I decided law school, what the heck, I'd try it. So I applied to some law schools, ended up getting accepted over at Gonzaga. Showed up for the first day of class, and you know, it's a Catholic school.
Right.
And in walks a priest, and that's our professor. He's a priest and a lawyer. And I leaned over to my, you know, and I said to the guy next to me, I go, are they all priests? I was worried what I'd gotten myself into, but.
So you're not Roman Catholic then?
No,
I take it, so.
no, I was raised Lutheran, so, you know, which is
Well,
like,
that's
Catholic
Catholic
light,
light.
right? Yeah, exactly.
Exactly,
So,
yeah.
So went through law school, did pretty well in law school, had a knack for it, got a job at with a guy named Pat Stiley. I was good friends with a third-year law student, guy named Frank Sikitovich. He's called Devil Dog, former Marine guy.
Okay.
And he kind of told me about this type of law firm that you really got hands-on work as a law clerk, and so it sounded like for me, and kind of told me what to say in the interview to get the job. And so he helped get me the job. Then I graduated from law school in '97 and wanted to, got engaged to Ann and wanted to stay in Eastern Washington, but I needed to get out of Spokane. Frank is a lot like me, Frank Sikitovich, and that Spokane wasn't big enough for two guys with egos like ours. So I left. It was a good move. I looked for places in Eastern Washington that were big enough to have a Costco. That was the screening criteria.
Right. So that's a good criteria.
Yeah, you know, so love Costco, and ended up moving here.
Okay.
And
now, had you had any contact with Wenatchee before? Or is it just okay?
None.
Really?
I'd never even been to Apple Blossom. I was smart.
Okay.
Even, you know, lots of kids from Central come up here, and that was when Apple Blossom was a going concern.
Right.
I was smart. I stayed
saw
away.
it from a different perspective.
Right,
so.
right. Yeah, I didn't want to be from the back of a police car perspective. Yeah, no, I heard all about Apple Blossom, but I'd never been here. Literally never been here, and didn't think I'd stay here. Frankly.
Really?
It was just a job. My wife, at first, we didn't really like it. It's hard to move to Wenatchee. I don't know if it's gotten any better, but there's kind of people that have always lived in Wenatchee and people from outside, and it can be a tough town to break into.
Well, I got here in '73 from New Jersey. Okay, and I loved it. I mean, except for a couple years in Seattle when I went back to school for a while. This is where, you know, my wife lived here, grew up here. It's where we met, raised our kids. No, I'm a real Wenatchee fan. So
yeah, I just ended up getting stuck here. You know? Took a first job where I did public defense. That's where I first butted heads with you and some of your colleagues. I wasn't here 6 months. I had the police guild so pissed off at me they couldn't see straight.
No, let me interrupt here. When I asked John to be on the show today, he said, should we talk about the days when all you cops wanted me dead? And I said, we never wanted you dead, John. We just wanted you maimed, miserable, and dying a slow death.
That would be too good for him. Right? Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I've always been kind of brash. I feel like if I'm not walking the edge and really advocating for my clients, I'm not doing a very good job.
Sure.
So I'm pretty aggressive, and you know, I take some hard lines on things.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I mean, we understood as police officers. I mean, you had to give a vigor. I mean, that's the point, giving a vigorous defense.
Absolutely.
Okay. What would irritate us sometimes is not so much defense attorneys, but decisions judges would make based on your arguments. I mean,
don't worry. This time you don't win too many motions, so that's okay.
Come on. So no, you guys are just, you know, like us. You're doing your job, so that's fine. So.
Yeah, not all police officers take that way, but I find that the good ones do.
Yeah.
You know, the better a police officer does their job, the harder it is for me to do mine.
And that's, you know, when I was in detectives, I had crimes against persons and sex crimes. Now, this was before your time, but I always said, when I write my reports, I'm writing it for the defense attorney. Okay,
Sure.
I want him to read it and look at his client and say, we better plead you out. Okay, and that was, so.
Yeah.
And it probably, in some ways, makes your job easier, too. So if you have a good police report or
I mean,
whatever,
you know,
in some ways.
If a police officer is aggressive, they're going to give me an opportunity to bring a motion to get evidence thrown out. Maybe they crossed the line. But, you know, walking the line's okay.
Okay, do you have any good stories like that? I mean, come on, nail us, okay?
Oh, you know, nothing really. I mean, just lots of little cases where, you know, different things happen. I mean, there was one police officer here in town, the state trooper, that I essentially ran out of town.
Right.
He was making traffic stops that were not legitimate.
Okay.
And we caught him. I even sued the state patrol over it, and got a small judgment for a guy, or settlement. But in any event, so there was one. I was kind of proud of that. That I thought he was a dishonest police officer,
and
I got him out of here. You know,
you should. I mean, if we're not, if cops, I keep saying us, you know, if we're not
Old
doing our
habits
job,
die
we
hard.
should be held accountable. I mean, the whole argument, you know, that cops are held to a higher standard, it's true, we are. And we should expect that. So
I agree.
That's my opinion.
Police officers have a lot of authority, have a lot of discretion,
Yeah.
and we need cops that are doing it right. Most do, and when they mess up, I try to catch them. So that's how it works. So
what do you like most about your job?
you know, I like helping people that are at a bad time.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking off the air that when, you know, a lot of times the last thing someone says to me is, I hope I never see you again.
Right, yeah.
Because I see people at bad times. I mean, I do a little bit of personal injury work, so somebody's been in a car wreck, they're injured. I do workers' compensation cases.
Right.
Again, they've been hurt on the job, and then lots of criminal defense where somebody's been accused of a crime. They go to jail, fines, lose their license. So it's scary stuff. And the reason I really have focused on DUIs is because I always like to joke, it's a better class of criminals. Anyone can get a DUI.
And he's right there. I got little input on that too. But
yeah, I mean, if you drink alcohol, if you smoke marijuana, if you take prescription medication ever, you can get a DUI if you have a car. And it's a subjective crime. You know, very few crimes we have are an officer's opinion about whether you're safe to drive, and that's what that crime is. So it's challenging. I really enjoy it. I got a good buddy, Brandon Radall. I give him all the serious felony stuff. I don't want anything to do with it. The only felonies I'll do is I'll handle traffic stuff. And I got the privilege of representing Adam Sanders about a year ago now. Brandon Radall and I did that together. He was accused of vehicular homicide and vehicular assault, and we got not guilty verdicts, which were well deserved.
Okay.
And that's probably my biggest, I'd say, kind of trial accomplishment was winning that case. And it was a case that was supposed to be won. It was a case that never should have went to trial. Yeah. And so Brandon and I were privileged to represent Adam, and he's moved on.
And that was, you know, I mean, for me and other police officers, it was nice to find somebody innocent. You know, even if you had probable cause for an arrest, to figure out that, okay, you weren't going to go and arrest somebody who didn't do what you had originally or been told that they had done, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I once had a defrauding an innkeeper case where a guy had used his friend's ID, so I thought it was the friend. Well, I was able to find out later that it wasn't the friend, it was the guy who used his ID, and I said, well, thank God I didn't arrest the wrong guy.
Right.
I mean, none of us who are honest want to do that. So.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, well, hey, I appreciate you being on here today. But hey, we're going to take a little break.
Okay.
We're going to come back and we do something called Your Probably Worthless Opinion. I have a letter from somebody here I haven't read yet. So hey, John.
Thank you.
Nice
Thanks
to
for
have you,
having me
my
on.
friend. But hey, Street Talk and other stuff. Mike Mad Dog Magnotti. Now, I just want to mention again, there is a Eastmont School Board meeting tonight at 5:30 at Grant Elementary in East Wenatchee. You can look up the address. But hey, stick around. We'll be right back.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
Ladies of the Wenatchee Valley, do you know the secret of receiving the perfect gift for your birthday, anniversary, or Christmas? We have the answer for you at Collins Fashions. Come in and fill out a wish list. You can choose from beautifully crafted jewelry, handbags, and luggage from Brighton, stylish wallets and handbags from Lotus, cozy sweaters from Icelandic, zip fleece from Tommy Bahama, fashions from Joseph Ribkop, and Collins gift cards. Our little elves can contact your loved ones and share your wish list. Complimentary gift wrap and amazing service at Collins Fashions in downtown Wenatchee.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Head.
Catch us on LocalTel Channel 12.
Watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
My name's Robert Duff. Current and previous occupation is architect, engineer, and a lawyer. Grew up here in Washington, born in Moses Lake. When I first came to CVCH, was looking for a place to get some dental work done. And I was really impressed with the people at the counter. I mean, they were just on top of it. It only took her like 15 minutes to do the job. I didn't feel anything. The technology is so great, you don't even realize you're at the dentist. These people are so professional. I would have any one of these people in my home for dinner. These people are family.
Okay, Street Talk and other stuff. Now, this is the time of the show where I read a letter from a viewer about, and we discuss the, the pertinence and the quality and that kind of stuff. So it says, Dear Mad Dog, I live in Oregon. Okay.
Just going to stop there, or you're going to keep going?
I think that says a lot. But I live in Oregon and was recently in your fair city where I experienced 2 upsetting incidents. First I saw your TV show, and if that wasn't bad enough, I had another troubling experience. I like these people who don't beat around the bush and tell me what they really think.
Right.
I had a second troubling experience. While driving to my friend was driving me to what you folks call an airport. Ooh, okay, excuse us, Ms. Oregon. My friend stopped at a gas station where she had to practice the barbaric act of pumping her own gasoline. See, because in Oregon,
they're starting to pump their own gas
they're starting to do it there now.
Yeah.
I think New Jersey is the only state where you don't pump your own gasoline anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oregon's changing. But we had to stop at a gas station where my friend had to practice the barbaric act of pumping her own gasoline. What bothered me most was that my friend and none of the other people at this gas station were using the environmentally correct green grass.
The diesel, is that what they're talking about?
Yeah, the gas with the green handle, the gas dispense with the green environmental handle. Yeah, she's from Oregon, right?
Luckily, the diesel one's got a bigger, so I don't think you could fit it. Because that'd be a bad
I guess
problem.
so. Rest assured, I was so shocked and embarrassed to challenge my friend about this, but now that Oregon has required me and others in my state to pump my own gas, we Oregonians will fill our tanks with only the green gas. This has no response necessary, but hey, go for it, honey. John, nice to have you, my friend. Okay, Street Talk and other stuff. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.